Hey there, everybody. Super excited to be here. Thanks for having me on Infusionsoft. This is going to be awesome. We're going to jump right in. There's no need to waste time. We're going to talk about how to stop waiting and start living, 6 steps to turn your stupid idea into your smart reality. And you'll understand how that affects not only your business but your life and really help you take whatever you're doing from where you are to that vision you're trying to accomplish and be able to help you be profitable in everything you're doing, especially in using Infusionsoft and everything you're trying to do to make those sales. So who is this for? This is for anyone who wants to finally start or discover an idea that's been burning inside. Anyone that wants to make more money, more meaning, more impact. Anyone that thinks they don't have enough time, experience, or money. Anyone that wants to live a life without regret. So in the next 60 minutes, we're going to talk about how to finally start or discover the idea that's been burning inside you, how to make more money, more meaning, more memories. We're going to talk about how to crush fear, make dreams happen, and live without regret, and how to overcome what I call the time, education, experience, money gap, the TEM gap. So my promise to you is this. You're going to learn how to successfully turn your so-called stupid idea into your smart reality now. Because we have these ideas that are in our mind, but we're not sure how to take them from where we are to where we want to be. And what you're going to learn is that sometimes the craziest things that we're thinking actually can be the most successful things that we're going to do. So we're going to get into that. My promise to you is that you'll be able to do this without making your business, I need another S there on business, but without making your business or your project or your dreams become your personal living nightmare. Because a lot of times what happens is people get into this idea, this new project, this new marketing tactic, and it turns into what they thought was going to be their dream, but their personal living nightmare. So we're going to learn how to overcome that so you can live a life without regret. Because let's get real. You're not in business just to be in business. You're in business to have a good life, right? So we want to take a holistic approach to making your business successful. So stick around, because if this is for you, by the end of this, I'm going to share with you a really cool gift I have for you. It's called the 76-Day Challenge, and it's a 37-page ebook that will take you step by step, by the hand, to help you turn your stupid idea into your smart reality. It'll go into a lot of detail, and it's just a really cool thing. So you're going to love it. So stick around. You're going to want to get that. So does this sound like you? Do you wish something, anything, were different in your life? Do you dream of doing something that can make a positive impact on your life, your family, or the world? Do you secretly know you're not reaching your potential? Is there something in your head or heart that you just can't shake? Is there something you want to do, but you're afraid to do it because you know parts of your life will have to change? Is there something, anything, that you'd like to accomplish over the next year or 2, but you're not sure where to start? Do you feel like there is something more? See, of course, we want something more, else we wouldn't be here. But the real problem isn't that we have all these things that we're missing. The real problem is that we don't know the combination to the lock, right? If you have a combination lock, if you know the numbers, you can open the lock. That's the problem, is in business and in life, the key to success is knowing that combination to the lock. So once you make it, once you understand those inner workings, the moving parts, how they all come together, once you understand that, once you're on the other side of that gap, you'll have the freedom that comes with creating your own lifestyle. You'll know you're living your purpose and reaching your potential. You'll impact more lives, like your family, your friends, your followers, your customers. Okay? Once you make it, your current fears will disappear, and you'll be able to mentor others on how you successfully made the journey. You'll live authentically, happily, and passionately, and inspire others to do the same. You'll make a deep and wide impact and leave a lasting legacy. So here's what you need to know. There are 6 steps you need to take to unlock your potential, accelerate your success, and turn your so-called stupid idea into your smart reality while working less and getting better results. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do those things today. So who am I? So, what am I talking about? I'm one of the, just a little background real quick here, top 40 under 40 best business persons by Pacific Business News. I lived in Hawaii for 12 years. They gave me that award. I'm a award-winning and best-selling author. My latest book's called The Power of Starting Something Stupid. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've started a number of businesses, and I just love business, and I love consulting, and I love coaching, and I love just what I do. My specialty is in helping people and organizations create systems that work for them and establish what I call their dream frames so they can make a deep and wide impact. I've gotten praise from my book from people like Steve Forbes, Jack Canfield, Brene Brown, Stephen Marcovey, Brian Tracy, Michael Gerber. You may or may not know some of these names. Seth Godin endorsed it. I mean, it's writing a book, guys, is a beast, but it's so rewarding to see people come out of the woodwork and kind of validate what you're doing. Not selling a book to you today. In fact, I have nothing for sale on this. This is a totally free webinar, but I do want to let you know that I've been studying these things for years, and I've been able to work on the back end of so many different companies that I'm able to put these things together and have access to these high performers that we'll talk about, and I'm going to share with you the things that they're doing to make them successful so you can be successful too. So here we go. Discovering the 6 steps. So let me get a little personal here. This is my beautiful wife, Natalie. We have a bunch of kids. We actually, let me get into it. So we recently moved from Hawaii, but we lived in Hawaii for about 12 years. And while we were living there, my brother-in-law, Gavin, he lived on and off with us for about 5 years. And he was a super cool kid, like the kind of guy that would, go help homeless. He'd keep the homeless people. He would bring them to the church services. He'd go to Cambodia and build houses. Just a really down-to-earth guy. Well, one day, unexpectedly, just we had no idea. He didn't wake up. He passed away in his sleep at the age of 21. And you can imagine how hard that was, because he was there one day and gone the next, and you just don't expect that to happen to someone at 21. He had all these dreams, all these things he was going to do. He was going to grow old and retire, and it just wasn't that way for him. And it was a huge wake up call for us. Just left a hole in our lives, and it was just game over, just like that. And a few short years later, we actually had our 4th son, and we named him Gavin after my brother-in-law Gavin, who had passed away. And this sweet little boy, there he is, Gavin, he brought so much joy into our lives, and he kind of filled the hole that his uncle had left in his own little way. Well, this sweet boy, he got a cough, and we took him to the doctors, and they said he'd be fine. And then it kept going. It persisted, and we took him to the doctors. They said, hey, it might be RSV. He'll be fine. And it just kept going. And we ended up taking him to the doctors again late one night to the emergency room. And we thought we'd be in and out of there like we had before, but they kept us there for quite some time. And it turned out that he had contracted a disease, something called pertussis, also known as whooping cough. And they put like all these tubes and wires and everything all over his body. It was just a nightmare. He was almost unrecognizable the way he was just puffed up with liquids and whatever medicines they were putting in him. And I remember one night the nurse said, hey, you guys need to stay the night. And we always stayed the night, of course, but she was letting us know it was serious. And I remember it actually came to a time where they brought the crash cart, and
my wife and I had to make a decision. Like they let us know that he wasn't going to make it. And they ended up taking out, all those tubes and wires out of his body. And I held him for a moment. I had my wife hold him, and I put my hand on his little heart. And I just felt for those last little beats as we sang him lullabies, and he slipped away. And, we left that hospital empty-handed, and the weight of the world had never been heavier. It was a horrible and excruciating experience. If you're a parent, you can only imagine, right? It's your worst nightmare. And both Uncle Gavin and Baby Gavin are buried in the same spot out there in Hawaii, and for him too, came over just like that. And I share this experience with you for a reason. Someone asked me, what did you learn from this experience? What did you learn from your brother-in-law passing away and from your son passing away? What I learned was this. I call it Gavin's Law, which is, if you're writing anything down, like this would be the thing to remember. Gavin's Law: live to start to live. Because when you live to start those ideas that are pressing on your mind, you really will start living. So many people are kind of like the Walking Dead. They don't know what they're going to do. They don't know where they're going to go. They don't know what's going on. They have no purpose in life. But when you embrace those ideas that are pressing on your mind, you live to start those things, you really do start to live. You really do start living. There's a great quote from a religious leader that says, "I plead with you not to let those most important things pass you by as you plan for that elusive and non-existent future when you will have time to do all that you want to do. Instead, find joy in the journey now." And what are those things that we hope to do in the future, that elusive and non-existent future? We say, hey, I'm finally going to do this thing when I retire. I'm finally going to do this thing when the house is paid off. I'm finally going to do this thing when I graduate. I'm finally going to do this thing when this or that happens. But guys, we don't have the future. We only have now. And so we need to do it now. I was president of a financial services company out in Hawaii, and also as I was writing my book, I actually interviewed hundreds of individuals. Some would say are highly successful, some less successful. But here's what I learned. I learned that people, they tell themselves something like this: I'm finally going to do this thing I want to do when I have more time, more education, more experience, more money. Only to find out that when they got there, when they get to that place where they thought they'd have more time, more education, more experience, more money, they still needed more time, more education, more experience, more money. And I call this the retirement mentality. Now, whether it's retirement or something else you're waiting for, we slip into this idea that, hey, there's something else out there that I have to do first before I can do the things that I really want to do. And so people sit and wait. And the successful people I interviewed, they didn't wait. They did it even when they lacked the things they thought they needed. They figured out a way. Those who waited ended up missing out on the opportunity. And so I'm here to tell you to destroy the waiting place. But why don't we destroy the waiting place? Why do we sit in fear? And it's because we're afraid of this. We're afraid of being stuck in a corner, wearing a dunce cap, with the rest of the people in the room looking at us, pointing their fingers at our back, and telling us that we're stupid. We're afraid of falling flat. We're afraid that we've built up this audience, we've built up this platform, we are on this pedestal, or whatever it is, whatever kind of measure, stature, whatever kind of success we have. Sometimes we're afraid that if we fail, we're going to look stupid and that will ruin us. However, what you'll find is that it's the crazy, the stupid things that we did before that got us that success in the first place. Okay? So let me ask you a question. Are you afraid of looking stupid? So what is stupid? Let me give you an example. eBay. Piero Midyar, he said when he went out trying to recruit people and raise money to get eBay going, people, this is what he was told. First, he told me it was a stupid idea. was one of the guys Pierre was trying to bring on board. And then he agreed to come on board. Twitter, BizStone, co-founder. A lot of people thought it sounded stupid. Even some of our engineers weren't interested. Sarah Blakely of Spanx. I'm wearing Spanx right now. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so anyways, I don't know if you know what this is. So Sarah Blakely, she's I think she was the first self-made female billionaire. And she had this idea basically to cut the feet off, pantyhose and make these things called Spanx. And she said that people, even lawyers, would say, like they thought she was joking. Like she said, "Are we on candid camera?" Like they didn't know what was going on. But she was able to turn $5,000 into a billion-dollar enterprise. And, she says, they all thought the idea was stupid or didn't make sense. The Beatles, back in the day, were a stupid idea. Decca recording, we don't like their sound, and guitar music is on the way out. William Shakespeare said, a fool thinks himself to be wise, but a wise man knows himself to be a fool. Wikipedia got a lot of funny looks 10 years ago when I started talking to people about Wikipedia. Jimmy Wales. The computer, guys, the computer. You're looking at a computer. The computer was a stupid idea. They thought there was a Thomas Watson, chairman of IBM, thought there might be a world market for maybe 5 computers. Another person, chairman and founder of digital equipment. There's no reason anyone would want a computer in their home. Guys, the telephone was a stupid idea. Alexander Graham Bell's future father-in-law, told him it was only going to be a toy. The radio was a stupid idea. The television was a stupid idea. Okay, satellites, stupid idea. In fact, Facebook, Pinterest, Skype, Twitter, Instagram, Foursquare, a lot of these different companies. Ben Horowitz, he's a venture capitalist that invested in these companies. He said, and by definition, a breakthrough idea looks like a stupid idea. If everyone recognized the idea as a breakthrough idea, it wouldn't be a breakthrough at all. And then, of course, Steve Jobs, who ended his amazing talk at Stanford, with the quote, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." So I'm here to tell you that stupid is the new smart. Stupid is that pressing thought that just won't go away. Now ask yourself, have you ever done something that other people said was stupid, but it turned out to be great? Maybe, maybe not. But when I do this for audiences around the world, people will raise their hand, we'll pass the mic around, people will share their ideas that they thought were stupid, but it turned out to be great. And it's amazing to see what people have done when they leaned into stupid instead of running away. So the idea is to lean into stupid. Stupid as the new smart. It's highly creative. It's counterintuitive. It's innovative. It's beyond our comfort zone. It's making change. It's unconventional. Leaning into fear. Guys, can you think of your business as something that you can grow by embracing those stupid ideas that you're afraid of? What if that's the thing that can take you to the next level? Pushing through less ideal circumstances, trusting that good voice, right, inside your head. So I'm a big fan and follower and even mentee of the great Stephen R. Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he said, trust is the glue of life. It's the most essential ingredient in effective communication. It's the foundational principle that holds all relationships. Guys, embracing stupid is about trusting yourself and your instincts. And of course, it's about learning and testing and failing and iterating and all those kinds of things. But it boils down to trust. Another one of my great mentors was Stephen R. Covey's son, Stephen M. R. Covey. He wrote the foreword to my book. He wrote a book called The Speed of Trust and also Smart Trust. He said the first step of a leader at work or at home is to inspire trust. Okay? So why aren't people more readily able to inspire trust, to lean into stupid, to make these things happen? there was an IBM study from, it was 1,500 CEOs from 60 countries and 33 industries. And they said more than rigor, management, discipline, integrity, or even vision, creativity is the number one most important leadership quality for future success in times of complexity. Creativity. So if creativity really is the number one most crucial factor for future success, why aren't more people disrupting the status quo? And that's because creativity starts at stupid. It's that trust factor. Okay, we are afraid of leaning into the new, even though in the first place it was the new things that we did that got us there, and then we get stuck. So Henry Ford once said, "Businessmen go down with their businesses because they like the old way so well they cannot bring themselves to change." So I hope to share with you some new ways of doing things so that you can be successful, and especially to trust those ideas that are coming into your mind that just won't go away. There's got to be a reason they're there. Go ahead and validate them. The idea is to test it out in the small. If it works, move forward. If it doesn't, move on or change until you get it right. Okay? So that's the power of starting something stupid. It's about inventing you. It's about being authentic. It's about acting on those promptings that you receive to trust yourself, those ideas. So the question of the day is, what idea is pressing on your mind? Write it down. What is that idea that just won't go away? What's pressing on your mind? Turn down the volume on your critics, even turn down the volume on the critic in your own head, but turn up the good voice inside your head, the optimist right there that's there, and go for it. Here's the thing. I want to share with you something I call the will I regret it when I'm 80 rule, okay? I call it actually the Bezos test. It's a story about Jeff Bezos. So if you, Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, you understand that, he was working on Wall Street before he started Amazon, and he had this idea. He saw the internet growing. He had this idea to sell books online and whatnot, and he went to his boss and went on like a 3-hour walk around Central Park or something, told his boss his idea, and the boss said, "You know what? That's a good idea, but not for someone who already has a job," right? And so sometimes it's not necessarily that the idea itself is stupid, maybe the timing doesn't make sense. So what Jeff Bezos did is he asked himself this question: will I regret it when I'm 80? And he told himself that he would regret not trying to start this thing that he ended up calling Amazon when he was 80. If he was sitting on a rocking chair, looking back over his life, he would regret not having tried this thing. So he actually quit his job, and he quit in a time middle of the year where he wouldn't get his annual bonus like they do on Wall Street at the end of the year, and packed up his bags, and he left from New York to Washington and started Amazon.com, and, the rest is history, right? So ask yourself, this thing that I'm thinking of, this stupid idea, if I don't do it, will I regret it? Will I regret it later? And if you would, it's worth testing. It's worth testing. A lot of people say, you know what? I don't have enough time. I don't have enough education. I don't have enough money. I'm here to tell you that's no excuse. I mean, if you don't have any time, it's because you're not prioritizing. If you don't have the education, get a mentor or learn it. If you don't have money, well, I mean, that's a problem, right? It's hard to do. I mean, they say it takes money to make money. But if you go back and you look at some of the most successful people in history, they all started somewhere. And many of them started with nothing, right? They hustled. They figured it out. They started with one, and then they grew it. So when Stephen and Mark Levy, he asked me to do some consulting for them, and I was sitting there. I was young. I was in my mid-20s, and he said, you want me to do these trainings? And I said, well, aren't I too young? Like, what about the gray hairs? What are these CEOs going to think when I'm sitting there trying to tell them like what to do with their company? And he kind of got serious, and he pounded on the table, and not like mean, but like firm, and pounded on the table with his fist, and he said, Richie, some people say they have 20 years experience, when in reality, they only have 1 year's experience repeated 20 times. And when he said that, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And he wasn't saying that experience isn't important. but he was saying that I could learn, right? So it's no excuse. They say that experience is the opposite of being creative. Okay? So the question then is how? How do you make this happen? Here's 6 steps to make it happen. The first one is to crush fear. And when I say crush, I literally mean crush. I don't mean make it disappear, because the fear is always there. It's in your gut. If you've done something serious, it's there. It scares you. And when you crush something, it doesn't disappear, right? It just breaks up into smaller, more manageable parts. So if you can break that fear down, name it, tame it, so to speak, name the fear, tame it, break it down in smaller, manageable parts, you can overcome it. So let me tell you just a quick little story. I love to surf. I was out at a beach on the North Shore. I had my shortboard. For me, the waves were pretty decent size. I had a longboard there for my kids to play kind of in the whitewash. And I started to go out, and my youngest son at the time is, I think he was 7. He said, "Hey, Daddy, I want to go with you." I'm like, "Well, let me just go do my thing, and I'll come back, and I'll get you." I started to go, and then he started dragging the longboard, and he was following me. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm fine, let's just go." So I grabbed the longboard, and he's on the front, and I'm on the back. And while we're paddling out, we're, doing our thing, and the water's super clear, like looking into an aquarium. And as we're paddling out, he says, "Hey, Daddy, is that a shark?" And I'm like, "What?" And, I'm like, "Oh, my gosh, please don't be a shark." And I look over, and I see this dark black shadow coming underneath us. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a shark." And I'm like, "What do I do? Like, do I paddle out farther into the the ocean, and try and get away from it?" Because it was coming. We were going out, and it was coming directly underneath us towards the shore. Or do I turn around and paddle in towards the shore to safety, but then I'm swimming with the shark, right? Like, what do I do? And I thought, you know what? If it's going to eat us, it's going to eat us, right? I'd rather be closer to shore when we get eaten than farther out. So what I did is I turned around, started paddling, and he started paddling too. And I'm like, "Okay, we're going faster because we're both paddling." And they're like, no, now we look like an animal, right, with 4 legs, whatever. But we made it safely to shore. The shark didn't eat us. We were fine. But as I look back on that experience, I realized something. Sometimes it's safer to swim with the fear and get to that safety spot that's scary to get there than it is to swim away from the fear and run away and get to a spot where we might be in even a greater danger. They say, like, put first things first. Well, what if first things first was actually feared thing first, right? So that's the idea. You want to crush fear. Sometimes you even crush is sometimes part of that is swimming with the sharks so you can get to the safe spot. And Bethany Hamilton, who sadly had her arm bitten off by a shark, says courage, and she went back out surfing. She's still doing it. She got back out there. She says courage doesn't mean you don't get afraid. Courage means you don't let fear stop you. Because business, guys, it's scary. But don't let your fear stop you from being successful. Don't give up. I'm actually currently in a business right now that is scaring the daylights out. Like, it's just new. Like, there's new stuff that I'm doing, and I'm learning new things, and it's hard. But you know what? Maybe I'll cry myself to sleep and cry when I wake up. But then I go to work, and I learn, and I make it happen. You have to just keep pushing through. The key to overcoming fear is to go through it, not around. So this is a little chart I made. As your aspirations go up, so do your fears. The greater the goal, the greater the fear. Guys, it's okay to be scared, but it's not okay to quit, unless you're strategically quitting to do something else and you have a plan. But to quit because you're scared, not okay. Not okay. The second principle is to end pride, whatever it takes. And I'm not talking about the pride you feel for your family or your country or your team. We're talking about the pride that you're afraid of looking stupid and you're not willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. So after my son passed away, I was president of this financial services company, and I'm like, you know what? This isn't what I want to do anymore. I want to be this coach, consultant, entrepreneur, business speaker, book guy, and I want to spend more time with my family. And so I actually quit what I was doing,
And we figured out. I went on a 2-month-long road trip with my family. We went, camping, biking, fishing, surfing. Like it was just awesome. And I just reset. I reset. I let go of my pride, and I started over. Okay. So here's the big idea. Are you willing to disrupt the status quo? Are you controlled by fear? Do you allow the opinions of others to overpower you? And do you seek approval from others at the sacrifice of your own dreams? Think about that one. Okay? The third principle is to overcome procrastination. I like to use the example that procrastination is kind of like when you're at dinner and they bring out the bread rolls and you fill up on the rolls, and then when they bring out the dinner, you're too full basically to eat it or enjoy the main course. Okay? What happens with procrastination is that we put off the thing that we really should be doing, the big thing, for a bunch of little things, the fluff, the carbs, the bread. And we fill up on something that's not actually the thing that we really want to do. So the idea to overcome procrastination, guys, is to clear the clutter and make room for your dreams. There's a myth out there that procrastinators are lazy. But did you know that in reality, procrastinators can be workaholics, right? They start working on all these things, but putting off the main thing that they need to be doing. So I call this the 4 P's of overcoming procrastination. Make your idea public, planned, pleasurable, and plainful. So tell people what you're trying to do, so that way they can hold you accountable. Plan out what you're going to do. Then if you achieve it, put a goal out there that if you do that thing, you will get some sort of reward. Make it pleasurable. But if you don't do that thing, something painful will happen. It's been suggested that, for example, if you're a Republican, that if you don't reach your goal, if you don't do the thing you're supposed to do, you would have to donate to someone in the Democratic Party, and vice versa, right? Like, so basically the idea is something that you really don't want to do, you do it, and that, it's kind of like the stick reward idea. It pushes you to make it happen. So make your ideas that you want to do public, planned, and then have a reward. Also have a consequence if you don't do it, and that will kick you in the pants to get it going. Okay. The 4th principle is to be authentic. Now, authenticity, in my opinion, is the absence of fear, pride, and procrastination. Those 3 things we talked about. Can you imagine what your life would be like? Think about this. What would your life be like if you had no fear, no pride, and no procrastination? I mean, the answer, guys, is anything, right? Like, what could you accomplish? Anything. One of my first companies, actually, the first main company I started was actually a cashmere business in Mongolia. And I had met this girl and her family in Hawaii. She had won a business plan competition, and I put together, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any money, but I wanted to help the family and others, especially people from other countries who wanted to return to their home countries and be successful through entrepreneurship. So I raised some money, and we put this fund together and helped her start this casual business. Guys, she was so authentic. She just wanted to serve, to help other people, to help her family, and help the people around her. And so she started this awesome business. Okay? She was completely, even though she had fear, she crushed it. Any pride she had, she let go of it. And the procrastination idea, she let go of it. She just started, right? Be authentic, and amazing things will happen. So the question now is, how do you bridge the gap between fear, pride, procrastination, and being authentic? And remember how we talked at the beginning of this presentation about the combination lock? Jack Canfield, another one of my mentors, he said, success is like knowing the combination to block. It doesn't matter what color, race, gender, or age you are. If you know the combination, the lock has to open for you. Okay? So to accelerate success, we must get as close to our dreams as possible, as soon as possible. Guys, study this sentence. To accelerate success, we must get as close to our dreams as possible, as soon as possible. How do you get close to your dreams? How do you get close to your dreams? You use principle. Okay? What I taught you, the fear, pride, procrastination, authenticity, those are principles.
principles. So the Latin root principles is principium, meaning source, okay? And princeps or princip meaning first or chief. It's the first thing that you need to do. Principles, it's not merely a fundamental truth, but they serve as the very first source of every decision we make along the road to success. And as I did all these interviews and studied all these stories of people and over history, what made them successful, they use something, which I'm going to teach you in the next, the fifth thing I want to teach you today. They use this to create success. And I call it START. It's an acronym for serve, thank, ask, receive, and trust. Guys, you want to be successful, and probably many of you on this call are already, mega successful. If you want to take it to the next level, if you want to do something new, if you want to start something stupid, turn it into your smart reality, you start with START. You start with service. You serve, then you thank, you ask, receive, and you trust. Okay, so just to give you an idea, Gandhi didn't start out being Gandhi. He started out as a lawyer who was very fearful and so scared that in his first court case he quit. He couldn't find a job. He couldn't even get a job as a teacher. And so he ended up taking a job in South Africa that he didn't want to take. And that's where he experienced all this racism. And you know what he started doing? He started serving the people. He started teaching them English. He thought that was part of the problem. And as he served these people, he started knowing everything that was going on. And they fell in love with him, right? To the point where they would do whatever anything he asked, right? Even, maybe even laying down their lives, in the cause that was going on. So he started with service. And I can tell you so many examples of businesses that started with service for free. And once you do that, you build trust. And then you thank the people who trusted you and let you serve them. And then you get into a position where you can ask for help or for a sale or for whatever it is. Some people just go straight for the ask. And if you go straight for the ask in the beginning, you could blow the whole thing, right? Because what if they say no? Well, hey, yeah, you can overcome the objections, you can do all these things, but sometimes you need to earn the right to ask. And then you can receive. So many people are afraid of receiving, right? Like, think about football. The receiver is supposed to receive. If the quarterback throws the ball, he's supposed to get the ball and run with it, towards the end zone and get a touchdown. So many of us have someone throwing a ball to us and we just drop it or we set it down. And we're not running with it. We're like, oh, yeah, I didn't know. No, when we receive, we run with it. It's different than getting. Receiving is taking what they give us and making something great of it. And then we trust. We trust the process. So let me give you a real life example. So when I wrote The Power of Starting Something Stupid, I went to a publishing practicum with Seth Godin, and he told me that before I launched my real book, so to speak, The Power of Starting Something Stupid, I should give a book away or a manifesto or what I call a mini book away for free as a way to build an audience, right? Build an email list. So I put my book, The Power of Starting Something Stupid, on hold, and I wrote another book, a very short one. You can still get it now on Amazon or other places, but it's still free. It's called Resume the Dead and What to Do About It. And I put it out just as a way to build a list and an audience. So take something for free, serve, right? And then when The Power of Starting Something Stupid came out, my real book, so to speak, they were ready, willing, and able, right, to buy, pick it up, and turn it into a bestseller. Okay, so that's one way, right? You hear the idea of freemiums or opt-in bribes, or there's a number of names for them, but the idea is give something away for free. If it can be digital, great. That's probably the easiest, best, fastest way to do it. Offer something of value, get their email, build a relationship of trust, and then make the sale. The power is in the list, right? And then you can go for the big sale. Now, sometimes you're like, hey, I just want to go straight for the big sale. That's fine, and you can do that. But, hey, do something along the way, too, so that they can trust you and get to know you, okay? That's the power of the idea that Seth Godin, talks about, is that permission.
marketing, okay? So when you're doing the email thing, right, because this is for Infusionsoft, and this is all about email, this is what I want you to understand. It's not about your list. It's about your relationship. So when I first started trying to list build, I would write, hey, free newsletter, or sign up for, bonuses or whatever. But then when I finally changed it to, this is the part, let me show you. When I changed it to this, download your free 37-page action guide to make your stupid idea your smart reality, the 76-page challenge. That's the formula, guys. There's 3 parts. Download this thing, that's part 1. To get this result, that's part 2, in this amount of time. That's part 3. Those 3 things, they can go in any order, but you say those 3 things and magic happens. Guys, I went from just getting like a couple hundred emails, right, in, what's it called, just doing the bonus thing, download, get the newsletter. Guys, nobody wants to read your newsletter. But I went, from that over the space of, several, I don't know. Honestly, when I first started, just that little thing on my website maybe got a few hundred, emails in like a year. It was just a disaster. As soon as I changed it to this something specific, download this thing to get this result in this amount of time, I got thousands of emails in just a couple of months. And then, it's evergreen and it grows, right? So that's the idea. Give something for free. Tell them the value they can get out of it. Remember, it's not about the list. It's about the relationship. So that they think that you can take them from where they are to where they want to be, or your product can do that for them, you win. You win. And once you have their email and their contact information, you can build a relationship of trust, and they're more likely to buy. They're more likely to give you their money. That's the big idea, okay? So you can see on my website, like I put it at the top. I use something called Hello Bar to have a button there to get it. I have it in the middle of the page for them to get this thing. I also have a pop-up, okay? Other ways to build your list, to serve, to get emails, to create a relationship with trust. On your fan page, if you have one, you can create. It's like basically this is just an image. When it's just click here, there's no button that takes you anywhere. I use Canva.com to kind of create this, which is just a free service that you can do graphic design on. But when they click on it, you guys know what happens already. The little text box of what I wrote on the post comes up, and there is where I put the link of where I want them to go to get this free thing. So we use all kinds of social media channels like Instagram. Make sure that you're putting this freemium, this thing that you're giving away, in your bio. If they go straight to your website, if you're not offering something there for free prominently, guys, there's hundreds, thousands, who knows how many people come to your website. But if you're not capturing their information, you have no idea who they are, and they're gone forever. But if you can capture their information, they're with you for life or until they unsubscribe, right? So you want to be pushing this free thing everywhere you go. Serve, serve, serve. Get this permission marketing thing. Get email from everyone, everywhere. Now, I consulted a company called JSports, and we started by just, doing big giveaways and doing contests and, doing emails, and built enough of a big enough audience that we could grow this beast. And it started from, this guy actually ran over my son's skateboard in my garage. And he's like, oh man, I'm so sorry. He built a skateboard for my son in his garage, and came back and said, hey, should I start a skateboard company? And I was like, I don't know. Would you regret it when you're 80? And he's like, I would. And he ended up starting a skateboard company, met a partner, figured out how to get manufactured. Now he's in Costco all over America. He's in parts all different retail locations and wholesale locations all over the world. His internet, his website's doing great. It all started from a stupid idea and email. Okay, so it works, guys. Use this. Use this. $1 million company just from a stupid idea and leveraging email, which brings me to leveraging existing resources. One of my friends, you may have seen her on Shark Tank or Ellen, it's called Freshly Picked. She makes moccasins for babies. But you guys understand, Susan, her name is, she just
needed to make money. Like her husband was in school, like he was working on replacing Windows with some company, and she wanted to try and sell stuff online. And so she's like, I don't know what to sell. And so she started looking around, playing on Etsy and whatnot. And she's like, she tried different things, and what sold she'd make more of. And she stumbled upon this idea of moccasins for babies. So she didn't have money to do it. So guess what she did? She asked the company that her husband was working for if she could take and recycle the aluminum or metal frames from the windows that they were replacing. And she took that money from the recycling the aluminum and used that to buy the leather to make the moccasins. Okay, and then it somehow she just worked the system. She built up her Instagram, built up the email, started doing all these things that we've been talking about: serve, think, ask, receive, trust, overcoming fear, pride, procrastination, being authentic. She started doing these things, and who starts picking it up? Magazines and celebrities, the Kardashians actually, and others, and now it's a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Okay, all from a stupid idea, leveraging existing resources. I work closely with John Lee Dumas. I started a company called Product, where we source products for entrepreneurs out of China so that they can take their ideas and turn them into physical products. And we worked on a project together over the last year called the Freedom Journal. And actually, you see that it's like $352,000 that he raised. That was, I took that screenshot a while ago. He's actually up to over $420,000 now. And he did that in 30 days, guys. But guess what? He didn't really do it 30 days. He built up an email list and served people and gave things away for free that whole time, so that when the launch happened, it wasn't like, oh, wow, John's doing a launch. No, it was like, no, I know JLB has been preparing for this for a long time. I'm ready to buy now. Serve, think, ask, receive, trust. That's how you create success in business, okay? Here's the idea. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Zig Ziglar. Bonus step number 7, the fastest and most effective way to be successful is to get a mentor, right? Because a mentor has been there, done that, and can hold your hand and take you from where you are to where you want to be, because they know what stuff you need to do and what stuff you can avoid and overcome it, okay? So in the end, I'm going to bring it back and tie it all together. When my brother-in-law passed away, when my son passed away, when I learned live to start to live, it changed my life. And I just started doing all these different businesses and doing ideas and, living my dreams and writing books and traveling the world, speaking to audiences all over. I went as far as like Dominican Republic and Bali, up to Canada, all over the place. All because I leaned into overcame fear, pride, procrastination. I was authentic, serve, think, ask, receive, trust, and leveraging existing resources, the 6 principles we learned today. And, of course, leveraging email and using that to be successful. So here's the idea. My brother-in-law, he planted that tree. It was actually really small, when he planted it, and now it's growing. It's actually a lot bigger than that now. But, whenever we go to that spot, I'm reminded of my brother-in-law's legacy, like the tree growing, leaving a lasting impression on the world. He left a lasting impression on my world, and I hope now that I've told his story on your world too. That's what you want to do, guys, when you're leaning into those stupid ideas, when you're trying to turn a stupid idea into smart reality. You're leaving a legacy. You're changing not only yourself, but your family, your customers. You're making something great out of your life and what, everything that you're trying to do. And, you've learned all this stuff. I've talked to you for quite some time. You have a choice. Like, you can just be like, oh, that was interesting, that was cool, there's some cool stories, and you can go on with your life and nothing changes. Or you can embrace what we talked about and start that stupid idea. Lean into the fear. Overcome your pride of looking stupid. Stop procrastinating. Be your authentic self, right? Serve, think, ask, receive, trust. Leverage existing resources. Like, stop telling yourself you don't have enough time, education, experience in my life. Go out there and do it, okay? You have a choice. And gosh, I wish I was with you, right? And we are kind of together right now, but I wish I was just there. And I could help you, like, let's just do this. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. the best way for me to do that is basically just I'm preaching and doing what I preach, right? Go get this guide. Download your free 37-page action guide to turn your stupid idea into your smart reality, the 76-day challenge. Just go to richienorton.com. It'll be right there. The direct link is richienorton.com/76-day challenge. That's my gift to you. I put a lot of time and effort into it. Thousands and thousands of people have it. I've received so many messages of people of how they've been able to create the business of their dreams by using this guide. It's totally free, and I want you to be able to, as much as possible, I can hold you by the hand and help you make it happen. Okay, that's the idea, guys. I am so grateful for the opportunity I had to talk to you today. I hope that you'll take something, anything. If you just got one thing out of this that you're going to do next, then this is a success. One thing that you're going to do, hopefully today, to take this idea that you have to the next level, build your relationship with your list, use everything that's at your disposal to be successful. If you do that, this was a success, okay? So, again, you're welcome to reach out to me, richienorton.com, and I wish you the greatest success in everything that you do. Guys, really good talking today. Happy to answer some questions now, and thank you. Thanks for spending the time and listening to this. You guys are awesome.